Hey guys, and welcome back to the Ate Says series. So this is the second video in the series. In the first one, I talk about finding a mentor, what are the benefits of having a mentor, and of course, talking about my own mentor, which is my mom. So in this one, I want to talk about being brave. Now, one of the biggest things that happened to me this year was being able to speak at Freedom Summit Asia. Now, we flew around. It was all crazy. We went to Manila, Malaysia, Singapore. They continued on to Bali and Thailand, which we didn't wasn't able to join, but we were able to talk about on stage about things that we have learned a lot, which is basically outsourcing, how to outsource. But I want to talk about a particular moment that some people might know, a lot of people might not know, but 2 hours before our speech, yeah, it was about 2 hours. It was about 2 p.m. and our speech was 4 p.m. I had a full-blown panic attack, which is not fun. I'm gonna tell you right now, a panic attack is not fun at all. I basically got into cold sweats. My heart started palpitating. I got into this mode where I could not feel that I was in my own body. Basically, just yeah, a panic attack. And it was mostly because I was going to be speaking in front of 150 people. Now, this is not no small feat. But a month before that, I've actually spoken in front of about 250 280 people. So I in my head I'm like, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be nothing, I've done bigger, it's good. But at that time, at that moment, I had a full-blown panic attack and I couldn't, of course, calm myself down. And it was mostly because of the fact that I was going to speak in front of a lot of people. Now, I had friends, I had support system, even though my boyfriend was far away, I had his like digital support and I had my sisters who were there and I was chatting with them. But it was still something very scary to feel that having a panic attack when you're already panicking about something else. So I was panicking that I was having a panic attack. And I can say that that changed me because then I still got up and did the speech anyway. I still stood up in front of 150 people and still did the speech. I was even doing it as a co-speaker. So I had someone else, my boss, who was speaking on the other side of the stage with me. So it was really nerve-wracking, but then I was still brave. And it's always funny how everything good, everything that you actually want in life is on the other side of fear. I'm not sure who said that, but I love that quote because it's so true. A lot of the times we are scared of something that we never experienced or something we experienced and it went really, really bad. But after that, after the Manila speech, it was easier. Everything else was easier for when we spoke in Malaysia and when we spoke in Singapore. It was so much easier because I had the experience of being really, really scared and then breaking past it and then actually getting through it. And then we even changed our speech at the last minute when we went to Malaysia and we changed it again in Singapore. We changed our whole slide deck. But I was more confident because I've already seen the other side of fear. So Ata's advice today is to be a little bit braver. Be push towards that fear. If it's really something that you like, if it's really something that you've always looked forward to and it's right there in front of you, just get it. Just take it and be on the other side of that fear, because then whether or not you will survive it, or whether or not you like it or not, or whether or not you will be this amazing person in the next era, you'll never know unless you actually do it. So be brave. Find my challenge a little bit right now is to find a what is an opportunity? Find an opportunity, find something that's been on your bucket list or it's been on your checklist for the longest time and actually do it, or at least take a small step towards it. That's always my motto is always take the first steps, even just a little step. If your goal is for me, if you were me and you were looking at your goal to get to New York, try maybe getting your US visa, which I did. I don't have a flight yet to New York. I don't have anything to do yet in New York, but I have my US visa in case I wanted to go. So be brave, be on the other side of what it is that you're scared of, because then everything is easier. It was so funny to me of like how I actually went the last speech that we did, which was Singapore. I had like 4 hours of sleep because we flew in from Malaysia to Singapore at like 12 a.m. and the event started at 8. So we arrived at like, almost 1 a.m. to our hotel, had a lot of other stuff happen, and then woke up at like had to wake up at 6 to be able to be ready for the event at 8. So I only had like about, yeah, 4 or 5 hours of sleep. So that was crazy for me, and I still did it. I was still able to do the Singapore one. It was actually my favorite. It was the easiest one for me, but I couldn't have gone there if I didn't have to break that barrier of fear in Manila. If I didn't have that panic attack, because then it made everything easier. Because I did think of the worst case scenario. I did think of, everything. They could boo at me. They could throw stuff at me. Just, thinking of all the worst case and then actually having the panic attack and then breaking through it. So be brave. You never really know what it is on the other side of that if you don't actually do it, if you don't actually set yourself to be someone who pushes past the fear. Again, I am Leonel Lacaba, your virtual ate, and I'm here to remind you that small steps matters. See you in the next video.